Hello and welcome to the Walk in Love podcast. I'm TJ.
And I'm Brooke.
And today we're probably going to cry. Just going for the declaration. I'm not going to be surprised by it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making us a part of your week. The Walk in Love podcast is a weekly conversation between Brooke and I about faith, rhythms, emotions, parenting. It's a place where we laugh and sometimes cry as we try to find language to live a more full life, joy-filled life.
Yes. So if you like your listening to line up with your living, then you are in the right place. How's that coffee?
I love that line. Coffee's good, line is good. I'm feeling good.
Latte's good.
I like it a latte.
I do like it. I like you a latte.
Oh, thanks, babe. So today,
Yes.
we are going to, yesterday, at the time of this recording, we celebrated, actually, wait, before I get into that, I'm going to hit him with a sponsor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm going to hit him with a couple of sponsors,
Okay.
just some opportunities we have coming up.
Wait, is it happening?
It's happening.
Are you doing this?
So the first thing I wanted to tell you was...
Me or them?
Them. You.
Everybody.
The audience.
Everybody's mom.
Everybody's mom. Have I ever told that story?
Maybe, but it's been a while.
So my younger brother, Michael, his real birth name is Mikhail because he's from Russia.
Yeah.
Adopted from Russia. And he used to have to clarify. I don't remember all the context, but he would say my mom all the time, like my mom, my dad, when he was talking about our parents. But he would say that to
another sibling.
Yeah,
like he would
sibling.
say to you
that's
I was something about my mom, and at that point, all you kids are like, yeah, that's everybody's mom.
So
yes,
then he started
all of our mom.
So then he started referring to her as everybody's mom.
Yeah.
Everybody's dad. It's just so cute.
It's so sweet.
So the first thing I want to tell you guys is the best is yet to come. We still have tickets available. You can buy those on our website. They're in the show notes. We're just super stoked for that event. I honestly just can't wait.
Yeah.
It's something that I've always wanted to do. Like I've always wanted us to be able to host a big event where other people come to speak. It's not just us talking.
Yeah.
And
please, no.
why not invite like two of the people that have impacted our lives and marriage the most?
Yeah.
In Jeremy Pryor and Josh Straub. So very excited about that. You can buy the tickets. We'd love to see you there. There's going to be a lot of podcast listeners there, so you get to meet people and be around like-minded people, spending a day focusing on making our marriages better, believing that the best of our marriage is yet to come.
Yeah.
And so, buy those tickets in the show notes. The other thing that we're going to talk about, this sort of sponsor opportunity, if you will, is
Sponsortunity.
A few weeks ago, we talked about, hey, we're going to open our guest room for some couples to come to stay.
Yeah.
Which
people are coming.
First person's coming in August.
I'm so excited. Find their gift basket.
Yes. And now you said on the podcast, I got to buy something.
Well, I was already planning on buying something.
I know you were.
Oh,
but now you just...
Now I have to for Jersey's.
So we've been talking about this. We love hosting people.
Yeah.
We've really realized that. We never got to do it for the first 12 years of our marriage when we lived in a 1,000 square foot home in Manheim, Pennsylvania. I don't know if you guys know this. Not a lot of people have Manheim, PA
on their destination list,
which I don't get.
Shocking.
Great town.
Yeah. Shocking.
It is shocking, but those of you that come into the event, you're going to see it firsthand.
Yeah.
So when we moved here, obviously people want to come visit, which has been really great, and we've really loved it. And so we want to find more opportunities to allow people to come and stay with us and be with us and experience the magic of Maui. I mean, it's just such a wonderful place that I feel, because it's so disconnected from the mainland, there is just this element of like, it just does something to you.
Yeah.
I think you're constantly out in nature. The weather is beautiful. Your feet are in the sand, which does something to the like magnetism of your body. Like it's wild, but it really does. And I feel like if you are connected to the Lord and allowing Maui to do its thing, it's even more powerful.
Yeah.
At the CrossFit gym I go to, we have like coaches that come for like weeks at a time.
Yeah.
Like the owner has this deal where like gets a coach to come, they stay with him,
they coach a bunch of class, they get to stay here. Yeah.
And one of the coaches was leaving today. It was her last day, and I was like, "How was your trip? Like, what did you think?" And she's like, "Honestly, I know it sounds cheesy, but like it's been life changing."
Yeah.
And I feel like Matt has had similar experiences staying here.
Yeah. I'm sorry, who?
Oh, Mark Kark.
Mark Kark. Okay.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's this wonderful place. And so we want people to experience it. So we've been talking about these couples coming and we're like, that's really great. That's really great. What about...
Well, coupled with, I've been wanting to do something.
Yeah. Brooke has been wanting to do like a girls get together with the audience.
Yeah. I just feel like I've been being like, I want to go on vacation with people and have this like fun event experience. Where should we go?
Yeah.
And then I rattle off all these places, which are great. And then I'm like, actually, what I really want is to take a week of vacation here and treat it as such and people to join me.
And then to have it just be a little bit more than like,
but it's a little bit more than a vacation.
Right. Like you go to the one extreme and it's like a bachelorette party of woo girls standing out of the top of a limo with white cowboy hats on, getting super drunk. That's the one extreme.
That's never been me.
But I'm just painting a picture.
No, I know what you're saying.
And then there's this other extreme of like, I'm going to like an on-site retreat.
Oh, literally like on-site.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm going to put my phone in a box and have super intense therapy and like, it will be life-changing, but it'll be exhausting and intense and all these things. So those are the two extremes of...
Oh, I like it. Okay.
And
drunk cowgirls out of a limo.
Yeah.
Woo girls.
Crying in therapy.
Weeping with Bob Goff in therapy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Those
cool,
are
cool.
your two extremes.
No, he's not on site.
Yeah.
But he's,
And so he opened one.
Yes.
With the guy from
you feel my track there.
And so what we want to do is probably air a little bit more towards the woo girls.
Yeah.
Like be in the center of that, but a little bit more like, not woo in terms of like, but like just chill, fun.
I'd say we're in the middle.
And we're in the middle.
But I'm not an actual therapist by any means. But I hope that the therapy side, if we had to call it that, comes from what Maui can do.
Yes. And
that's
just
what
like
I'm saying.
Casual conversation at dinner and all this kind of stuff. So that's what we're hoping with our actual couple guests.
Yes.
But Brooke's been wanting to do this sort of thing, this trip thing with just girls. And honestly, our audience is like 90% women.
Yeah.
And so the other day I came home and I was like, hey,
what if instead of you going somewhere else,
people just came here and I just left with our daughters.
Yeah. Like go visit family or something.
Go visit family for a few nights and you stay here and have people come and stay in our house. And you guys have like a fun girls trip, because here's what we've realized as our audience has been mostly women, Brooke's age, maybe a little bit older, maybe a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Is that women have a hard time deciding or just like committing. That sounds extreme, but like to like treating themselves to something. So like
or even treating makes it sound like, oh, it's so indulgent, you don't deserve it, which is not at all what we're saying at all. But yeah, even like
we've talked about this before. You have trouble having hobbies.
Yes.
And like a hobby is a treat that you get to enjoy. It's not like
it's an experience.
Yeah, like
it's yeah.
And so
I'm like, I don't know, what would I do? Where would I go?
See messages and
who would I go with?
Exactly.
How long would I go? What do we do?
And I'm sure that a lot of you who are married have husbands that are like, go do something, take time, go have fun, like.
And then your mind goes blank.
And then you're like,
black out. I don't know what to do.
Well, you go to the store formerly known as Target. Yeah. And you walk around with a coffee and then you
one random night for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
okay,
I mean, that was great.
And
but
your husband's like, come. And on the reverse side, I'm like, hey, I'm going to go on a guy's trip because we've all planned it and it's going to be awesome. Is that okay? And you're like, sure, that's great.
Go for it. Yeah.
And as husbands and wives, we want to give those things to each other. But I think women have a harder time. This is what I was trying to say. Women have a harder time just doing that.
Yeah. Especially if you don't, there's like a few people I can think of who do it very naturally. And it's because they've had the same group of girls, women now, since like high school. Yeah. And so it's this like tradition.
Yeah.
And it's like built in because they started so young. And so if you don't have that, I don't know, I guess maybe you're looking for like a women's retreat from your church maybe.
Yeah.
Which can be fine, but it's definitely not what I'm describing.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's like, what do you do?
We got a few spots.
I know what you do. We have a plan.
Here's the plan. We have a few spots
Stick to the plan.
for you to come stay in Maui in our home.
Yeah.
For 5 nights with Brooke.
And by a few spots, we mean
8. And enjoy the island and then also have the benefit of being with Brooke and talking to her and asking her all the questions you want to ask her and seeing her cook. And
I'm already doing the math on
kind of
how many Rice Krispie boxes do I need.
And it'll just be Brooke. Me and the girls will be gone.
Yeah.
And so go to the show notes.
Yeah.
Click, click, click. Hold on.
I go online. I go click, click, click.
And if the dates line up for you, that would be awesome. We'd love to have you. And
it's very limited.
Yeah.
Like, just because I can't fit that many people in my house at one time. So we're like trying to max it, but keep it not crazy max, like for everybody. So, I'm excited. I'm a little nervous, but it's like an excited nervous.
I'm excited because I know how impactful trips to Maui have been for us.
Personally.
And so I just feel like there are so many moms out there, specifically moms who are in the thick of it, raising little kids, trying to protect them from the outside of culture.
Yes.
Trying to be a good wife, trying to work hard, not eat poison. Like there's just so much, be intentional about screens and what our kids watch and all this kind of stuff. And honestly, there are some of you who are like, and you're exhausted.
Yeah.
And so you go and walk around Target for 2 hours thinking that's going to like rejuvenate your spirit, and it doesn't.
No.
And so that's what my hope is for this and for you, is like that you have these 8 women come back feeling like I've been put on planet Earth. I've been gifted the kids that I have. I have the life I have for purpose, and I'm passionate about it, and I want to use it to glorify God in all the ways.
Yeah.
Now I feel rejuvenated and rested.
Yeah.
So that I can come back and be like re-fired up for that. Because as we've talked about travel before, is like, that's what travel does.
Yeah.
And I think specifically with women, when they come together, there's like,
it's so fun.
It is. It's so fun, and it's so cool. And so that's what we hope this becomes. And honestly, like if the one chunk sells out, there's likelihood we'll add another one.
Yeah, I'm all in.
You're all in.
I think it's everything. It was funny. It was like this light, and this feels very like behind the curtain for me to share.
Whoa.
And so like,
it's usually only me that's sharing behind the curtain.
I know. Yeah. But I just I've wanted to do something like this for a lot of years.
Yeah.
But I couldn't quite pinpoint exactly what it looked like.
Right.
And so I never fully made it happen. And then we were the closest we've ever been to making it happen somewhere else, like somewhere more mainland. And it just didn't sit quite right.
Yeah, with the travel and the childcare.
Like, it was just all the things. I was like, we're so close, but we haven't quite nailed it. And then when you were like, wait, we have it backwards. I'm going to travel and leave, and people are going to come here. And I was just like, cool. Can we do it next week? And that for me wanting to like move that quickly and make it happen because I'm excited about it says something to me.
Yeah.
Cause usually I'm like, I don't know. Let me think about it. Let me land in the middle. And so I'm excited.
I'm excited. Okay. How was your week?
My week was great.
Your week was great.
Was it? I've known what happened. Sorry. Give me a second here. Okay. This happens every time. Okay. Let me back up. Our anniversary happened. Super fun.
That was yesterday.
I'm literally going in reverse. Okay. Yes. We went out to dinner, both for a second time for the anniversary and also to celebrate B&B After Dark.
B&B After Dark.
Launching.
Huge.
Podcast happened. So
and it
fun.
got to, last time I checked, it's at number 35 on the kids and family chart, which is kind of a weird way to say it, but so like every podcast category is like a main category. So it has like a religion and spirituality is a category. And then under that is like Buddhism, Catholicism, Christianity, Judaism, whatever, Muslim, all that kind of stuff, Islam or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then like kids and family, it's like kids and family, kid shows, family, parenting.
Parenting is under
and so
there.
That's what you guys are under, and you got all the way up to number 35. I'm going to check again right now.
Wow. So that happened. That's very, very exciting. Thank you for listening. If you already did, if you didn't, please go listen. They're only about 30-ish minutes, and it's just Bianca and I talking about motherhood, faith, parenting, whatever we're reading, whatever we're listening to. It's kind of just us rambling and recording our conversations that we would normally have together anyway in the evenings. And so it's been super fun. If I back up all the way to Monday, we went out to a real anniversary dinner.
At number 35 still.
Wow. It's exciting. Which was really fun. Like you made a reservation, you put on a collared shirt. Wow.
But if you go one day before that, we had the daddy-daughter dance.
Yes.
So Jeff, the Bethkes host a daddy-daughter dance. This is the third year. We've gone to 2 of them. And it's such a sweet
So
night.
sweet.
All the girls, like our girls get new dresses.
Yeah.
I go and buy flowers.
Yeah.
And it was fun. We danced last year. We danced in the barn. This year we danced like on their pool deck. And then at the end, all the dads jumped in the water
With
their clothes on. And the girls were like,
What is happening?
what is happening? So
Yeah.
that was super fun. And then the next night was our anniversary dinner at
Yeah.
Lineage in Maui, which is like kind of a more bougier place.
Especially for us.
Yeah.
So
It's
we're like,
bougier than Chick-fil-A.
it's not a Chick-fil-A or a takeout pizza because that's where we're at in life.
So,
yeah.
But it was fun. And the podcast launch, our anniversary was yesterday. And so in honor of our anniversary,
Yeah.
Brooke had the idea. She's like, what if we asked each other 14 questions? And
7 each.
Well, first you were like, what if we ask each other 14 questions? And I was like, that's a lot.
That's a lot of questions.
If
I said, let's split that in half. What if we do
So-
7 and 7? We're going to ask 14 questions.
We just celebrated 14 years of marital bliss. And we're going to ask each other 7 questions each. We have no idea
Yeah.
what the other person's going to ask. And
Okay.
so that's why I sort of prefaced it with like, there will
might cry.
probably be tears involved.
Oh boy. Are you asking me? Oh no. Okay. Are you
I
gonna
went
go first,
more.
or do
I
you
went
want me-
more serious than I thought
I
I
went
would.
more serious than I thought I would too.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Okay. And if we have a double question, we're just both going to answer it.
That sounds good.
Like if we match. All right. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Upstairs? Downstairs?
Downstairs?
Okay. Favorite memory about our wedding day.
Oh man.
And you can't say, "Well, I got to marry you," because like that's a given. That's the whole day. But if you can remember anything specifically or any part specifically, and I know it's hard. It's hard to remember your own wedding day because it feels kind of surreal and it's all just like, whoa, and then it's over.
I have maybe 3 like hyper realistic photo memories from the
Okay.
day.
I wonder if they match mine.
One was waiting to do our first look outside of your parents' house.
Yes.
And being pissed
Yeah.
that other people kept coming out. They're like, TJ, stand right here.
Yes.
She's coming.
Yes.
Your mom came out.
Yeah.
The photographer came out.
Yeah.
The videographer came
Yeah.
out. And
Which now that you know more how weddings work, that does kind of make sense.
yes, but
you weren't
I
thinking
was
about
told
that.
Brooke will be the next person you see.
And then that wasn't
Yeah.
true.
Not that your mom isn't great,
Right.
and other people aren't worth looking at,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Just not, yeah, that's funny.
It's not what I
Okay.
subscribe for.
Yeah.
And so that's one. The other one was waiting because my dad married us, waiting
Oh, yes.
backstage and just like having
Backstage, behind, waiting to come out for the ceremony.
Yeah.
I guess it's stage, but that
Yeah,
just
it's a
sounds
stage.
funny.
I had backstage passes to our
Yeah.
wedding. Don't be jealous.
All access.
Yeah, all access. And I had like super nervous energy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
just excited and ready to
and
go.
I'm like, like I'm pacing. And my dad was like, why don't you do some push-ups? And so I did push-ups. So that's one. And then
That's funny.
I guess 2 more. You walking down the aisle, just like that'll be an image in my head forever because you started crying
So
hard. And then dancing our first dance and just, everyone's around you that you love and watching you. And so
Yeah. Those are good. Those are some of mine. We don't have to answer every question of
Right.
each other's, but one I'll toss in was how hungry we were when it was all over. And do you remember
yeah.
we went to find,
Yeah.
we
got pizza.
We went back in, we checked into our hotel, dropped all of our stuff. I took a shower to like get all the hairspray and stuff. And then I was like, we're starving.
yeah, because we didn't do meals.
We just did a big dessert like spread reception. And so
Yeah.
it was fun and I ate there, but even then like people were talking to you the whole time.
Yeah.
I think I barely ate the dessert.
Yeah.
And so we were so hungry. And so we went and we were like, we got to get pizza. And I just we've never been to that pizza. I've never been to that pizza place before or since. I think you maybe had been there
Yeah,
because it was closer to your home.
A kid that I went to high school with owned it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or his family
Family owned it. But anyway, I just think about that and how hungry we were. All right,
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay. What do you think the next 14 years will look like?
Oh gosh, 14. I think I have a similar question. Like full transparency, no clue.
Right.
There's,
Yeah.
well, of course, in the reading the future kind of a way, but like I have been so, surprised makes it sound like I'm not paying attention. I'm just like, oh, suddenly shocked. I don't mean surprised like that. Suddenly I found myself here. Not like that, but like I've been so surprised and delighted and all the things in these 14 years that it's very hard for me to even like in 14 years, June is 20, whatever. What's 14 plus 8? Who knows?
22.
Okay. Like I was getting married.
Yeah.
And so like, and I try to jump ahead that far and picture it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know. You know, I hope and I feel like these, like down underneath these like core things of family and faith and our jobs. Like I still believe that all of that will be there, and hopefully it's more core-ish, like deeper
robust
and you know, more robust than ever. But when I come up a little bit to more like surface, not in like a doesn't matter way, but just, I don't know. I'm like, I really don't know if I don't know if we'll be here. I don't know if there'll be more kids. I don't know if.
I feel like the next 14 years will be defined by us guiding our daughters from girlhood to womanhood.
Yes.
That is the season that we're going to enter, you know, as we have an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 1.5-year-old. Like in 14 years, they'll be 22, 19, and 15.
Yeah.
And so 2 of them will be well within womanhood.
Yes.
And 1 will be like right on
basically
the cusp,
there.
you know? And so like, what does that look like? What does the discipleship of those girls look like in those seasons? You know, how can we be intentional about walking them through that? It's funny. We were talking about this at the daddy daughter dance. We were talking about it for boys, and how like culturally, boys need a ceremony because for females, they turn into a woman when something happens to their body physically. Yes. There's literal blood shed.
Yes.
And that is like a very impactful
it's a big marker
moment. And so
if you let it be.
Sociologically and historically, there isn't this like tribal moment for a girl entering womanhood because it happens so naturally in their body. Yeah. And so
the physical
change where a guy doesn't really feel that. Like, you get a little bit of hair in places that you didn't, and your voice starts to crack, but like there's no sort of like.
But it's almost giggled at a little more.
A little bit,
like, oh, okay, your voice.
And so they were talking about how like, they were sharing different stories about dads. Like one dad buried his kid up to his neck and was like,
get out.
And they left. They didn't tell him how long they were going to be gone.
Okay.
And so when they came back, he was like with 12 of his like close guy friends. He's like, when we go back, I want you to like be as carnal and as like tribal as you can think.
Oh,
like,
he went and got friends and is bringing the friends back?
His friends buried their son.
Sorry.
13 years old.
Okay.
Up to his neck. And they said, we're going to leave you now.
Okay.
And so then they left.
Okay. They all left.
Yeah. And this is a pastor.
Okay.
They left. And then he said, okay, when we go back, I want you to be as like primal and carnal as you can be and like chanting and jumping up and down. And then we're going to unbury him and say, the boy that you were is buried. Rise and become the man that you are, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And so like, I didn't have an experience like that. Yeah. Like, and
I feel like
there's an element
churches were trying.
Right.
There was like a few church programs that were like, okay, let's see if we can, and then we'll do this thing and we'll talk about modesty with girls. And it's like, they were trying, and I'm not dissing any of that, but it needs to happen in your home
and like,
in your family.
I think it's, what's his name? John Tyson.
Yes.
His was like a 3-year discipleship program for his son.
Yeah.
That started by him running into whatever river or lake is near
them.
They live in New York City, Hudson or something like that.
Oh gosh,
like that
maybe
started
not
the journey.
One, but
And then for 3 years he had this like discipleship program for his son.
Yeah.
And then it ended with like one of those like 500-mile hikes in Spain.
Yeah.
That ends at the ocean.
Wow.
And so he became a man when he ran into the ocean. I didn't expect to get so emotional about talking about boys. I only have girls.
Yeah.
But I love that because it's different for females. I don't think it's as like primal. I mean, John's thing is called the primal path.
Yeah.
But I do think that there needs to be intentionality with girls. And so figuring out what that looks like. And I was...
Well, I was telling you about some friends recently. I was like, did you see their Instagram reels? They just had a whole day to celebrate. And I don't know what age she was turning. I'd have to double check. But like... They did this thing and they hiked this thing and then she had to do a cold plunge and then all these people came and prayed over her and like it was only one day. I don't know what was leading up to that. Yeah. I assume some intentionality.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a year that led to that day or whatever. Yeah. And so
but like, man.
So the next 14 years for us, I feel like if I'm going to answer that question as well, is it looks like ushering our girls from girlhood to womanhood and trying to be as intentional as possible about that.
Yeah. Oh, love that. Okay.
Number two.
Jeez Louise.
We might not get through all of them.
Did you think, so I'm gonna ask you a series of things based off of this question. Did you ever think on our wedding day, like around that time, that we would still be doing Walk in Love as our jobs?
I don't know.
Well, they weren't our jobs then, so I couldn't have even I can't even clarify it as that Walk in Love would become our job.
I mean, that was always the hope, you know. I think there's always been doubt that's possible. Even now, I'm always like, how is this going to work?
I love it. Okay, did you think that we would have 3 girls at this point?
No, not on our wedding day. After we had June, I was convinced that the rest would be girls.
That's so interesting. Yeah. Did you think we would ever live on Maui?
Never in my wildest dreams.
Yeah. Did you think you'd be a United Premium Silver member?
I mean, in my wildest dreams, yes. But the fact that it's happened, I just want to rattle off some of my accomplishments.
Okay.
Married to Brooke.
Yeah.
I've got 3 kids, whatever. Amazon Prime member.
Oh, early adopter.
Early adopter. Costco member.
Basically born into it.
I did... about to inherit the largest sum of cold cash ever passed down to
Cole's Cash.
Cole's Cash and United Premium Silver. So,
wow, babe. Look at you. And your TSA pre-check.
Yeah.
Wow. 14 years. Look at you.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it for that question.
Okay. What's something that you wish we'd have done the first 14 years that we didn't? Or that we still haven't?
Something that I wish we would have done in the first 14 years. Yeah.
I have one.
Let's phrase it that way.
Because like it can't be like I wish we had kids because we had kids in this first.
Correct. Something we didn't do at all.
Yeah, we still haven't done.
But that we still haven't done. So I can't be like save more money because that's kind of because like we did save money.
Right.
But so we didn't even remotely do or touch.
Right.
In our world. Oh gosh.
You want me to go?
Yeah, I don't know.
Mine is go to Europe together.
That's so funny. I almost said maybe travel somewhere really far just for it. Like we traveled a lot in our first 14 years, especially the first 7, like before or 5 or however many before kids, because we shot weddings.
Right.
And so we did travel cool places that were kind of far away, but that's different. I don't mean like
it wasn't for the specific purpose of just traveling.
Let's go travel somewhere because we can't. Yeah, I actually might have said that. I was
going somewhere like not exotic because we went to Hawaii. We did the tropical stuff, but like go to somewhere like Europe or Australia.
Yeah, just like fully immersed in a different culture.
Yeah,
would be really cool.
So, okay.
This is so random, but some friends from here are in Japan right now. And they were like, we need to go to this place. And so we have 2 options. We can either get our driver's permit and and drive while we're there, or we can take this really long cab ride to go where we want to go. And so she got her permit or license, or I don't even know what it is. I don't understand it. But Haley's driving in Japan right now. And this is where I'm headed. There's roads over there called melody roads, musical roads. I don't feel like roads is the right word. Have you heard of these?
No.
They have grooves in them in the physical road so that when the vibration of your car drives along it and you keep your windows up, it makes different.
That's so cool.
And so the road is like singing to you. Wow. Maybe I'd go there.
Okay Go made a music video with that sort of concept.
Yes, that's right. Whoa. Their videos are crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, my turn?
Yep.
Okay. What is one way you hope to see us grow in our relationship this coming year? So between 14 and 15.
Man, that's a good question.
It's one I actually feel like we kind of talk about. Or
I would love to see us. Man, I feel like we've had so much growth.
I know.
In the last
so I'm like
5 years.
Oh, where else are we going?
Where else? I think just like having more grace and patience for each other when we are at our worst.
Oof,
like
yes.
When you are doing your thing.
Yeah.
Of like, I could do this and 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 I could do this.
When I'm mentally and emotionally swirling.
When you're in no man's land mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
And I just like want to say, just spike the ball.
Yeah.
Get over it. You know, like that.
Yep.
And so
maybe a little more grace there.
maybe a little more grace there. And then when I get like super stressed about business or finance or like just like something not working quite right or, you know, that. Yeah.
So funny. Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah. Because when that happens and you get weepy, I want to say, get over it.
Yeah.
You know, like, well, like we can feel that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can feel that towards anybody in life, but
having grace and patience towards each other in our, like when we're at our worst.
Yeah.
Because you know, obviously I'd like to be like not at our worst ever, but that's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay. What's something that you wish we would have done sooner in our marriage?
There's part of me that says, I wish we would have started having kids sooner. But then I'm like, that's both, it's like both and for me.
Yeah.
That's both true and also not, because I was the one who was like you already would have started sooner.
Yeah.
I was the one that felt not ready or scared, or I don't even know. I was probably a lot of things that I could pinpoint. So it's like, that's kind of my answer.
That would be my answer.
My other answer would be, that's so hard to answer, because I feel like if any of these things had actually happened sooner, it's like butterfly effect, you know?
Right.
And I'm like, that could have changed everything.
Right.
And I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But I definitely wish, this isn't even, I mean, it is specific to our marriage, but I definitely wish I would have figured out my voice stuff sooner.
That would be one of mine too.
And again, I don't know if I could have.
Right.
I don't know if it would have. I don't know what that would have looked like.
Yeah.
But I say it so frequently now.
Yeah.
Just like I'm still in the habit. It's like everybody's mom, right? Of clarifying.
Yeah.
Like now that I can talk.
Yeah.
Like it's why I'm interested in people coming to stay with me.
Yeah.
It's why I'm interested in a second podcast. It's why I'm interested, because I'm like, shocker, life's a lot easier when you can talk.
Yeah.
And
it's
so
just like we're a year out from the surgery.
Yeah.
Just about. We're not even a year out from like, hey,
we're a year out. May 16th was the surgery. So it's been a year since the most recent surgery, but it has not been a year of my voice being back, because we were in that real rough, like healing, what felt like no man's land.
Yeah.
What is happening pretty much all last summer.
Yeah. And it's changed your life.
Our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that would be one of mine too. Having kids earlier, maybe buying Bitcoin when it was like a penny a coin, something like that. Might have done. Wish I would have done that.
Yeah. Okay. What is one thing in our relationship? So like about us, between us, that happened with us, something about us that happened together that you laugh so hard about every time you think about it?
That's my question too.
You have one of those?
Yeah.
I love it.
I don't think we can share the story.
Which one is it?
Because it happened right here.
Oh, no, not the time we laughed the hardest, but maybe just when you reflect on it. I mean, that is pretty funny.
It's that story.
It's that one? That one tops it all for you? Oh, no.
We were laughing so hard that like we couldn't
get it together.
We couldn't get it together.
Yeah.
And that will be
this is as deep as I'll ever get with it. There was a misunderstanding on my part about a very inappropriate phrase, which is why we're not going to talk about it. And I was like, wait, that's what that means? Like, because I've definitely used this phrase in a different way in front of people and didn't know. And it was just, there was the the moment that I had the glass shatter realization of like, oh, that's what that means. Oh, gosh. It was a good moment.
If you stay at our house,
I'll tell you the story in person, but no other time. Oh gosh. Yeah.
So that was my question too. What's like a moment where you feel like you just laughed super hard together?
We've had a lot of them. Mm-hmm. But
now is that one the only one you can
now
think
that's
of?
all I can think about. Although I hadn't even thought about that one. I can laugh pretty hard when I reflect on just like, it's more like seasons. Like I can get pretty giggly about just like the craziness of some of the weddings we went to and how we would laugh about them and just be like, what is happening around us right now? How we could like lock eyes while doing our job and just be like, what is happening?
But we can't laugh because we're the professional photographers.
No, of course not. No.
Like you had a bride one time who like stopped her reception. I wasn't at this wedding because we had kids, and started doing like a catwalk up and down the stairs for people to take pictures of her, but like made a thing of it. Was like, hey everyone, come take my pictures. I'm gonna like, and she was like walking up and down the stairs.
Very dramatically with like her gown behind her. And I was like, am I supposed to take pictures? What is happening?
Is this normal? I don't have this on my schedule.
That was, yeah. So like I can get kind of giggly about that whole season and just like, oh my word.
I feel like some of the things we've laughed the hardest at are honestly like the Office bloopers on YouTube. Like when we watch those.
So deeply ingrained in our relationship. They feel like part of us.
We laugh at those very, very hard.
Yeah.
Every time we watch them.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, that was my next question. So we got that out of the way.
Okay.
Okay.
Me, you, me.
I'll go.
Okay.
Favorite trip we've ever taken?
Oof. Just the two of us, or just in the last 14 years?
In the last 14 years of marriage.
Oh wow. I feel like I have to categorize without kids and then with kids because I kind of feel like there's two.
Okay.
I think that my favorite trip you and I ever took, which this surprises me a little, was we shot a wedding in Jamaica.
Yeah.
How funny.
That's mine too.
Because like, I mean, it was a great wedding and they were fun. And it was actually the second wedding in that family. Like we had done both sisters. And so like all good things about the wedding. That was great. But that's not necessarily why.
We extended our trip.
It was just, yeah. And I just have some like core feeling memories of that trip.
Yeah.
More than the others. I don't know, like, I don't exactly know why. And so I would say that was probably the one without kids.
It's all inclusive, which is a big part of it because you're like, I don't have to make any decisions. I just showed up and go to the restaurants and make the reservations, but like, never, obviously I've paid for it at this point.
Right.
Although someone else paid for that one.
Yeah. I don't remember extending our trip. Did we?
Yeah. We just stayed a few days longer than the wedding.
I guess I kind of remember that as far as like running into people that were like there for the wedding.
Yep.
I remember that a little bit.
Okay.
I would say that was probably my favorite. And then my favorite trip that we've taken since having kids. Oh gosh, maybe I even have two there. It's just a hard question to answer. The first thing that came to mind was the trip we took here with the spur of the moment trip.
Yeah, we stayed in the Bethke. Yes.
Where we stayed there, which is funny because some people, anytime we're like, how did you guys find us on Instagram? Some people will say, I jumped in to follow you guys like because of that trip, which is so fun. But I would also have to add our most recent Disney trip because it was like we were stopping in California on the way to Pennsylvania. And so I sort of feel like it was like, I don't even really think about it as like trips we've taken. It kind of just like floats in there and I forgot about it. But it was just fun. I feel like I'm all on team travel when you have little kids. Like I'm all about it.
100%.
But I also think there are elements of the travel that do get easier and in some ways more fun as your kids get older. Yeah. And they just like.
They're not too cool for school. They still like see the sort of wonder and like Junie talks about driving at night to the airport. Like it's just the most magical thing that's ever happened. Yeah. And taking off when it's dark out. Yeah. And so like, when they're 13 and 14, they probably won't talk about that at all. But she still does now. And so there is some magic in that.
It's really sweet.
Mine would be our trip to Stone Harbor, which is
maybe I'd put that in there too.
June and Sunny. Daisy wasn't born yet.
That felt very
what's crazy is after
foundational to like, we are a family unit and we are going on a vacation. Yeah. And we've saved for it and we worked hard. Yeah.
And that was, I think it's after that when we record a podcast that we say, man, our girls just come alive by the water. And I think people have kind of referenced that as they've gone through an order. We've gotten messages of like, do you know that you said like you wish you could live in Maui after that one, or maybe it's after the Bethke one or somewhere in there.
It's been mentioned more than once. Yeah. The vibes of like living somewhere like here without always naming it specifically.
Yeah. And so that one was really foundational in terms of just like a family team style like unit. And then the Bethke one, that changed our lives. I think that was like the door cracking open.
I don't think we knew. I didn't recognize it as that then.
No.
I wasn't like, ooh, this is our first foot in the door of like maybe living here someday.
Yeah, but
because it literally, like I'm not saying it for dramatic effect. Like it never actually crossed my mind
because we went to
live somewhere like
we went
here.
to Oahu on vacation with just June and my family.
Yeah.
And I remember asking Brooke, why don't we just live here? Couldn't we just live here? No way, never could do it. And then we came here for like a business group we were part of, and I said the same thing. Why don't we, and then we came here and stayed at the bed because like, couldn't you just imagine like?
Yeah. And I'm like, well, I can imagine.
Yeah, but it's just
but
like,
imagining doing it is very different than actually doing it.
And so, yeah, those are my trips.
That's good. Okay. How did you know you wanted to marry me?
Oh my goodness. Where do I even begin?
You already had a Costco membership.
I already had a Costco membership, and I think I already had an Amazon Prime. So
other
than United Premium Silver, I had accomplished most of my goals by that time. I just felt like we clicked.
Yeah.
There was no I had no problem picturing my life with you at all.
Yeah.
Like we just foundationally, spiritually, creatively, vision wise, like we were,
which is funny because I'm like, vision wise, it feels so little back then.
Yeah.
And not in a like, oh, cute, but just
like our vision was like, we just needed to run businesses. And like, but that was like foundational to us that like we wanted to do that.
We spoke that language and we were interested in it, and we both we were already doing it separately. Yeah.
But just, I just knew. What was the question again? How did I know?
How did you know? Or should I say when? I don't know. You can change it a little bit if that's helpful.
How did I know? I don't know. I just knew. I just knew.
Yeah.
I just knew that like couldn't do any better. Like I was instantly in love with you. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this. Sweet. And what's crazy is like now I feel like I look back at that like sort of immature, not immature, but that like new love. And it just seems so small to me. Yeah. Like after 14 years of marriage and intimacy and like
and life.
Relational, emotional connection, it's like, oh yeah, that's cute that you thought that. Like little TJ, beardless,
glasses-less. Yeah.
TJ.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Ready?
I think, how many do we have? Do we each have one more left?
I have two more left.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
4, 5.
What's one area you want to see me improve in over the next year of marriage?
Ooh, you?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Be honest.
I know. Well,
I'm a little encouraged that you didn't have something.
Yeah. Oh, let me open my notes app.
Let me open my second brain. There's a whole section on you, you dum-dum.
No. I think a while ago, I probably would have said fitness for you, and not because I'm like, hey, get it together. Like not out of like that, but just out of like, I know how much you actually enjoy it and your personality. I mean, everybody needs to be active and in those things, but like some people need it in a different way than others. I don't even know how to explain it. And like, I think you fall into that.
I function better throughout the day in all my other roles if I've exercised first.
Yes. And kind of intensely. And so I would have said that, but that's something you've really fallen into, with consistency and commitment and all the things. I mean, like fallen into the rhythm and groove of it over the last year and a half. What's the question? Something to improve on?
Yeah. What's an area of life you want to see me improve in over the next year? Or have I already arrived in my perfection?
No.
Oh, interesting.
I'm like...
Maybe get United Premium Gold or...
That would be huge for us. That would be huge.
I love that for you.
I love that for you. I genuinely mean it. I don't know if I have an area.
I do.
For yourself or for me?
For me.
What is it? Because I'm like, well, I have asked many times for you to rinse your dish with eggs.
I feel like I've done that.
No, now you just fill it with water and leave it in the sink.
Well,
you need
rinsed.
to dump. No,
rinsed.
I need to use the sink for other things all day long. So this is where I'm like, I could think of like stupid specific things.
Hit me with the stupid specific things.
Well, there you go. But that's not like an area of like bigger improvement.
I would love to become...
Maybe the way you...
Okay, now
here we go. Here we go.
The dam is broken.
No, I'm just kidding. You wait. The way you speak to yourself and to others, about like our business or our, and that makes it sound like you're like all the time, and you're not. But in the last few years, and we've talked about this on here a decent amount, like just with the economy and COVID and like, everything's changing, and everything's changing all the time. But I do feel like there's been a lot of change in the last few years, in every direction in all the ways. And so I just think like it has shook some of your business confidence a little bit. And you've always been someone to have
self-deprecating tendencies.
Yes. And so you add that on top of like, I don't know either. Everything's changing. This feels crazy. What is happening? What is TikTok? What are reels? What's going on? Like,
what is TikTok?
What
spying on us?
Yeah. Do you remember when I got that sponsored opportunity like 3 years ago with them? And I was like, no. I'm not going to be sponsored by the Chinese government. Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm not using it. I'm not signing up.
Hard pass on communism.
Yeah. Unsubscribe. And so, I just think like, we joke as you're growing your plants. Oh, that's like just a fun area of improvement though. I don't mean it like you're doing bad, but like, that'd be really cool to see you lean into more like not yard work, but like, gardening, cultivating, that kind of stuff. Cause you already have an interest in it. Anyway,
overalls without a t-shirt underneath
is what you're saying.
That's what
I think that is exactly what
14 years. And
how did I know I was going to marry you? Boom. That, no, but like we keep joking that like there's actual studies done about if you speak to plants positively or if you speak negative words, that like it physically changes the plants, which just sounds so hokey pokey crazy, but multiple studies about this, like, and how these plants are thriving and these plants are not doing as well. So you jokingly talk to your plants, but it's like, it's true. If you spent the next year, even if you're still feeling those doubts and you're still feeling all the frustrations and you're still feeling all of it, you can feel it.
Yeah.
As I keep saying,
Svetlana would say at the gym.
Oh, I met her today.
You must have positive self-talk.
Yes.
She's Russian.
Yes. And
she's not impressed with my Russian words.
No.
At all. Not at all.
Like, please stop. Not impressed.
No, just like, she's just not impressed. And I just.
Maybe if I just double down.
I'm going to double down. Say davai one more time, which means like go or run or like move quickly.
Yeah.
We don't really have a word for it. It's like a laundry, but it's more like just
more like a child's laundry. I just think, I think this
That's
about a lot of things, but if you started today, a year from now, would it be better?
Yes.
Yes. And it specifically, I don't know, like that could be a variety of things, but like, I do think that would be worth improving, worth working towards.
Nice.
What were you going to say? Not that?
Mine would be like rekindling the desire to learn. Like I feel like I'm in a season where I just like, I don't want to read about anything. I don't want to listen to the podcast that like is got the great interview. I don't know if it's like tiredness or apathy or just lack of interest at the moment, but I definitely feel like I haven't read a book really at all this year. Like I've just like I've kind of started some and I'm like, I don't know, on the other side of that, I've read more of the Bible this year than I ever have. And so there's an element of like, I
personally feel like it's a wave or I ebb and flow out of my capacity to take in a lot, digest a lot, learn a lot. And then I come out of it and
we've been doing much more in terms of like the back end of business and the planning and the focusing and the events and all this kind of stuff. So there's an element of like, I just don't think I have the capacity, but that'd be one thing. Yeah. And then the other thing for myself is like, to check my phone, like to just like not have to not be on it so much.
Not
like
literally to check.
No, to check
yourself.
Check myself and my phone usage.
Yeah.
I think that one will be one that exists year in and year out, but
I
definitely feel like lately I've just been like, I don't know, I guess I'll check to see what's going on,
Yeah. And it's like,
but I don't need to.
No.
I mean, you do need to, so when collections launch, you can buy. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I could certainly think about a bunch for me if we wanted to. I don't.
Yeah, we have time. I have one for
my last.
Do you want mine?
Last question is basically a repeat of one you already asked.
Okay.
Like, what in the last 14 years, what would you have done differently or started sooner or blah blah blah? It's kind of the same thing, unless you feel like you have a totally separate answer for it.
Kids earlier.
Yeah.
Voice restoration earlier, Bitcoin earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
What do you want me to answer for you?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I think one of the things you're doing, and that is your health and fitness. I think that it affects your emotions and all, like, you know, like if I don't work out hard a few times a week, I'm not as good of a dad. I'm not as good of a husband. I'm not as hard of a worker. For you, it's if you don't work out a few times a week, or if you aren't headed towards your goal of the weight and the size and the shape you want to be post baby, it takes up so much emotional space in your head that weighs so heavy on you. And I feel like if you, over the next year, which you've already started, focused on that, it would just, I feel like you would just like stand up taller, have more like clarity, probably literally. That's funny. It's like one of the first things you know, you're like, is your posture
way better? You're like, oh, turns out you need ab muscles.
Turns out like if you have muscles,
it straightens your body out.
Who knows? Yeah. Science. Science.
I believe in science.
So that would be mine for you, is like the
continued improvement, but with maybe a little more aggressively. Or
I think you can easily talk yourself out of like just being like, I'm going to commit to this for a year. In the name of like, well, you know, like life's hard, and you know. But I do think that it weighs on you so much. Like, what am I going to wear, and what bathing suit should I put on, and all this kind of stuff, and all those little.
Excuse me.
Like if you pile all those things on your shoulders, all that emotion and all those thoughts over and over again. It's similar to my self-deprecation. It's just a different version of it. Where eventually that's heavy and that's hard to carry. And so trying to be a good mom while carrying that, or trying to be a good wife while carrying that, or trying to like work hard while carrying that. You end up like sort of shuffling it all around it. And so that would be mine for you. All that being said, I think you're amazingly beautiful. And
thank you.
Let that be known. Let it be known.
Let it be known. Yeah, mine would have been in a similar area, that I feel like by going to the gym with Bianca at 4:30 a month or two ago, or a couple months ago when I started that was like the first really big hurdle I needed to jump to get started in the direction of like actually integrating fitness and movement. And again, like I'm not going and doing CrossFit. I'm not going and doing anything crazy intense. That's actually... while it's fine, it's definitely not, especially hormonally, which is a lot of stuff I'm trying to work on balancing, like the lifting heavy things a few times a week and then walking as much as I can, has really done a lot for me, which is really, really awesome. So I would say an area of improvement would definitely be, I would echo what you said. And then... it's not really specific to the next year. I think this might be ongoing, sort of like, I think every year I might hope to be this way, but like to be less in my head.
TSA pre? Oh.
Well, yes, I do. I 100% want to be TSA pre-check this year. That's a great goal for me. I love that for myself.
I love that for you. I don't need it because I'm already there, but
would be to like be less in my head about, well, everything, but specifically, if I had to be specific, about like relationships with people and the communication surrounding those relationships. Less like, I don't know, should I text? Should I not?
Right.
Should I say that? Should I send that? Should I invite? It's a lot of shoulds. Like, I don't know how else to phrase it.
Should all over yourself.
I know. I gotta stop shoulding all over myself, because it's so tied up in like, I don't know. If I could just get out of my head and know that like my intentions are always good, whether I am inviting or I'm not, or I'm sending or I'm not, or I'm texting or I'm not, like, and just spend less time swirling around it.
Yeah, spend less time in no man's land.
Spend less time swirling.
Yeah.
And I honestly, like, I think 16-year-old me would have said that. I think college me would have said that.
And I think the same thing is true about me with sort of the self-deprecation, like
so it can just be like a tendency, and you can kind of just lean that one way. And so I think there's an element of like always most likely wanting to improve that area, because even if I made a ton of progress, I think I would still be like, all right, let's keep going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be like, well, I made a lot of progress last year, so I'm just going to stay here now and sit here now with that. But
it's good stuff.
Yeah,
cool. We got through all 14, I think.
Nice. Close to it. I think some were doubles, but that's all right. It's fine.
Amazing.
That's fine.
All right. You can head to the show notes to buy tickets to The Best Is Yet to Come. You can head to the show notes to hang with Brooke
Come
on
have
Maui.
vacation with me.
And I think that's all for today.
Yes, it is.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for making us a part of your week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I love you. Bye.